not as Jamma. So that is the way you pronounce it. And with regards to what is considered as a Jummah, so scholars they have differed a lot. There's lots and lots of differences among scholars on what is the linguistic meaning of a Jummah. Alama Munawi rahmallah said, وَقَدْ اضْطَرَبَ أَهْلُ اللُّغَةِ فِي تَفْسِيرِهَا, that the linguists, the scholars of Lugha, they have differed with regards to explaining it. Alama Muslihuddin Lari, he said, وفي كتب اللغة اختلافات في تفسير الجمة. In the books of language, there are many differences regarding the explanation of Jummah, the interpretation and the meaning of Jummah. So here we just quote some of the different meanings. The first meaning, some scholars have said that it refers to hair. So what is Jummah? It is a hair. It is a synonymous word with sha'r. Like how sha'r refers to hair, the word Jummah also refers to hair. So whether a person has little hair on their head, whether they have a lot of hair on their head, whether they have long hair, whether they have short hair, in all circumstances, as long as there is hair, you consider it as a Jummah. Alama Farabi, rahmallah, he mentioned this. He said, Al Jummah Ash-Sha'r. That what is Jummah? It is hair. That's the first meaning. The second meaning is that it refers to thick hair. So Mullah Ali Qari, rahmallah, he explained Jummah as kathifuha. It refers to thick hair. So if a person has thin hair, then you cannot call it Jummah. So this is the second meaning. So you can already see that if you're going to take the linguistic meaning, how the meaning of this narration is going to differ. Is he saying that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam just had hair? Is he meaning that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had thick hair? Then the third meaning is that it refers to long hair. So Alama ibn Sida, he said, Ma طال min ash-sha'r, that it refers to long hair. The fourth meaning is that it refers to abundant hair. So it refers to a lot of hair. So the previous two, thick and long, that is the quality of the hair, isn't it? That it's thick. The hair is thick or the hair is long. This is the quantity of hair, that the hair is a lot. So Alama ibn Sida, he quoted from Ibn Durayd that he said, وَالشَّعْرُ الْكَثِيرُ, that it refers to a lot of hair. When a person has a lot of hair, then that is what is considered as a Jummah. So here you can see what's the root letters of Jummah. It's a Jim and a Mim and another Mim, isn't it? And then you putting the two Mims together, and that is how it becomes just a Jim and a Mim. When you go back to these root letters, then we find that things which are in abundance, things which are lot, things which are in great number, they are referred to with these words. So, for example, in the Quran, وَتُحِبُّونَ الْمَالَ حُبًّا جَمًّا. So you can see it's Jamma. Don't worry about the i'rab. Look at the root letters. It's a jim and a mim. So, in the book which you're all going to soon be getting, inshallah, of Alama Raghib al-Asfahani, he mentioned there that قال الله تعالى وتحبون المال حبا جما أي كثيرا, that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you love wealth, such love that is jamma, what does it mean? It refers to a lot of love of wealth, that people have a lot of love for wealth. So you can see it's referring to abundance. So that is the fourth meaning. Fifth meaning is that when hair is gathered together, then you refer to it as a Jummah. So Alama Raghib Asfahani, he also said, قِيل الجمة لقوم يجتمعون في تحمل مكروه. That when people they together and they united in enduring a hardship, all the people together are bearing a hardship and enduring the difficulty, then you can use the word al-Jummah. وَلِمَا جَتَمَعَ مِنْ شَعْرِ النَّاصِيَةِ, and also the hair on the forelocks which gather, that hair is called Jummah. So that's the fifth meaning. So Alama Munawi, he also mentioned and explained that it's derived from the word jumum. And jumum, it has this meaning. Yes, so that's what I said. Juma and Jama has this same root letters. That it's Jim, Mim, Mim. So I told you, don't worry about the Arab. Just look at the letters. So that was the previous meaning. Now, yeah, Alama Munawi is saying that minal jumum al ijtima', that it's derived from the word jumum. So again, you can see jim, mim, and then the waw and mim again. So it signifies gathering, coming together. And from the reliable linguist Alama Jawhari Rahmallah, in another book which you're all probably investing in getting, in As-Sahah, he said, والجمة بالضم مجتمع شعر الرأس وهي أكثر من الوفرة. The Jamma, what a Dhamma refers to the gathering of the hair on the head, which is longer than the Wafra. So basically, when all your hair is together, then you refer to it as a Jumma, like in a bundle. So Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah in Fath al-Bari, he mentioned هي مجتمع الشعر إذا تدلى من الرأس إلى المنكبين وإلى أكثر من ذلك. It refers to the gathering of hair when it is flowing down the head, whether it flows down to the shoulders or even beyond the shoulders. The person has long hair, then that extra hair. But now, yeah, if you look, the difference between what Hafiz ibn Hajar is saying and the difference between what Alama Raghib al-Asfahani said, that Alama Raghib al-Asfahani, he said, min al-nasiya, min sha'ir al-nasiya. Nasiya is the forelocks. Forelocks means just above the forehead. So he's particularly mentioning about that point. Hafiz ibn Hajar is mentioning what flows down to the shoulders in it. So this could be to the sides or to the back. So it's not on the forehead. If it flows down from the forehead to the shoulders, will cover your eyes and your nose and everything, isn't it? So it's referring to a different portion, but the objective is that it still has that same meaning. It still has the meaning of gathering, and that is the objective. So here you can see that how many different meanings are there? 5 meanings. If it was in the exams, who would have got 5 out of 5? They all managed to remember these 5 meanings and managed to understand these 5 meanings of the word Jumma. So these are 5 meanings. Subhanallah. So these are 5 meanings for the word. I was saying Subhanallah, the person what they put is the username. So these are 5 meanings. For the word Jumma. So Alama Munawi rahmallah, he explained, وهذا محل قد تناقضت فيه كتب اللغة وتعارضت فيه الروايات. That you can see there's so many different meanings for this word, and it differs completely, because if you're saying it's hair, then when you go and you cut your hair just a little bit short, number one, number two, then that's also hair. If a person lets their hair grow a lot, that's also hair. But if you're saying it refers to abundant hair, then it means that person must have lots of hair. If it's bald, then you cannot say that he got a Jumma. وأقرب ما وفق به أن فيها لغات. So he's saying that maybe it's used in different dialects, different places. They use it in different meanings. So if you look even in English, we have different words which are used in different meanings, isn't it? I told you all about the robot. If in your country you'll say robot, you'll think of something else. In our country, you say robot, we think of something else. So like that, in different places, different eras, different areas, different dialects, you use the word differently. وكل كتاب اقتصر على شيء منها كما يشير إليه كلام القاموس في مواضع. So every book will specify the meaning according to their region, according to a particular context. So, and others will mention different. So there are these different meanings, but the point to note, what's the point to note? The point to note is that while they all differ, most of the meanings, number one, it's all the meanings are confined to hair. It's all discussing about hair. No one mentioned anything else besides hair. They're all mentioning different ways in which they can be. And then a lot of the meanings are also indicating to a good mass of hair. So whether it's a good mass of hair because the hair is thick, so in that way, it covers the head. Or whether it's a good mass of hair because the hair is long, and in that way, it covers the hair. Or whether it it is because a lot of hair gathered on the head. So in that way, it covered the head. So these are all the linguistic meanings. Now, if you have to look at the three different types of hair, so there are the scholars, they mentioned there are three different types of hair depending on the length. So the first is called wafara. So what's the you want to call it poem, or you want to call it nasheed, or what you want to call mu wafaratihi? So wafra, the meaning of wafra. What is the meaning of this word wafra? Alama ibn al-Athir, he said, al-wafra شعر الرأس إذا وصل إلى شحمة الأذن. That wafra, it's hair that reaches up until the earlobes. So what is wafra? A hair that reaches up until your earlobes. So did that register? They all got that now. Wafra equals hair that reaches up to the earlobes. Now, point number two, the second type of hair is limma. What is limma? Limma is that hair which goes between the earlobes and the shoulders. So Alama ibn al-Athir, you can see you're quoting so much from An-Nihaya, I'm sure. Every time you're quoting from it, your mouth is watering more and more and more and more. When can I be the proud owner of this kind of a kitab? When I can be from amongst those fortunate souls? When I can be from amongst those blessed beings who are privileged enough to own a copy like this in their own house? I'm sure you'll have that kind of a desire, isn't it? We have this great ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and huge bounty that in the square meters of your house, a kitab of this great nature is found. So he says, ألم من شعر الرأس دون الجمة وسميت بذلك لأنها ألمت بالمنكبين. That limma, it refers to hair that goes beyond the Jummah. And why is it called limma? Because it reaches like up until the shoulders. Basically, it's between, it's like touches the shoulders. So at times it's just in between. At times it just makes it to touch. So you can see this is a limma. So it's in between. And then you have the word jumma, which we are discussing here. That al-jumma min sha'r al-ra's ma saqata ala al-mankabain. That what is a mankibain? What is a jumma? It is that now which falls onto the shoulders. So now definitely it reaches to the shoulders. So well, you'll all be able to remember these words. That you have wafra till earlobes, limma in between earlobes and shoulders, jumma up until shoulders. For this, we'll give you all 2 marks, not 1 mark. So I'm sure you will all get 6 out of 6 for this, inshallah. So now we quoted from a lexicographer who came before Alama ibn al-Athir, rahimahullah. So Alama Jawhari, rahimahullah, he explained, Al-wafra al-sha'r ila shahmat al-udhun, thumma al-jumma, thumma al-limma, وهي التي ألمت بالمنكبين. That you have wafra which reaches up until the earlobes. Then you have, now look here, you can spot one difference what's happening here. That he's saying then comes jumma, and then after that, he's saying, then comes limma. But if you look at our order, it's different from an-nihaya. So that shows that there are differences. And then Qadi Iyaz, rahmallah, he quoted from Shamir. So 2 homeworks. Homework number 1 is memorize this, at least from an-nihaya. You make intention to memorize the Arabic, inshallah, from an-nihaya. Those of you who know Arabic, that al-jumma min sha'r al-ras ma saqata ala al-mankibain. So you memorize that. You need to repeat it. Al-wafra sha'r al-ras, al-wafra sha'r al-ras, al-wafra. Then you look up. Now what's it again? Then you look again and said, al-wafra sha'r al-ras, sha'r al-ras. Then you go again, al-wafra sha'r. Now what's it again? Then you just look inside again. So like that you memorize, repeat, and memorize. So memorize the Arabic from an-nihaya. That's homework number 1. And homework number 2 is to find out who's Shamir now. When his Qadi Iyaz is quoting from Shamir, I told you this name is not some tawiz that's written here. You know, you look at tawiz. The one way to understand it is like a tawiz. You look, you don't know what's written. Or the other way is that like pharmacist, what they gave to you. You look, you don't know what's that, the doctor, that on the script, what's written there. The doctor, not the pharmacist, the doctor gave you a script, now you don't know what's written there. So to Shamir, now you must find out now who's the Shamir, who is he quoting from? So وقال شمر الجمة أكبر من الوفرة وهي الجمة إذا سقطت على المنكبين والوفرة إلى شحمة الأذنين واللمة هي التي ألمت بالمنكبين. So you can memorize this if you want to. That is a quoting from Shamir that you have Jumma which is much more longer. It's much bigger compared to the Wafra. So if you look on the screen, you can see now we stole from Google Images one image there. So Al-Wafra, can you see there, tell the yellow? Then Al-Limma, can you see there it's in between? And Al-Jumma, can you see? So now that makes it very easy to understand. Do you all appreciate that kind of a picture, or you all think you'll rather understand from words? Or you like that? Whoever is a visual learner, then they like that kind of pictures, isn't it? Makes it easy to understand. So now you can see it, and it will stick in your mind, inshallah. So these are the preferred meanings according to the vast majority of scholars. So now Alama Bajuri, he taught us an easy way of remembering it. That وعلى هذا فترتيبها واو لام جيم ولجة. Walaja means to enter, isn't that lajja walaja, that if you continue persisting on knocking, then you'll soon get to enter. So walaja, sometimes you ask a person one time for something, they say no. Ask them second time for something, they say no. Ask them third time, fourth time. So if you continue knocking, walaja, then you'll enter. So walaja means to enter. So you just remember walaja, meaning to enter. So the wow in walaja, it means wafra. It means stellar earlobes. Then the lam, it means in between earlobes and shoulders. And jim, it means to the shoulders. So simple to remember. Isn't? So على لاحظ جيم من منتهى السول. He said الوفرة الشعر لشحمة الأذن وجمة إن هي لمنكب تكن وسم ما بينهما باللمة قد قال ذا جمهور أهل اللغة. So you can see he put it like that in poetic form. That al-wafra comes to the earlobes. Jumma, if it goes to the shoulders. And whatever is between it, you call it limma. And then he says that this year, it's according to the majority of linguists, according to the majority of scholars. Now here you can see he's saying that it is a jumhur. But Mullah al-Qari rahimahullah, he quoted from Alama ibn al-Athir, he said, وَنَقَلَ الْجَزَرِ أَنَّ هَذَا قَوْلُ أَهْلِ اللُّغَةِ قَاطِبَةً. That this is the unanimous opinion of all scholars. There's a difference between majority and all, isn't it? What's the meaning of all? All means every single individual, 100% out of 100%. And majority could be 99% out of 100%. So there's a difference. Mullah Ali Qari is quoting from Alama Jazari that he is saying that there are 100% everybody agree on this. But from the beginning also I told you, we quoted from Alama Muslihuddin Lari, and then also the five different definitions I gave to you, you can see so many differences there are. So you cannot say that this is according to all linguists, rather there are differences. And even on this word Jumma, there are differences. So leave alone just a difference of opinion on what constitutes what. On this word Jumma, there are differences of opinion. So, sorry. So Alama Lahji rahmallah, he explained the three meanings of Jumma. فتحصل أن في الجمة ثلاثة أقوال ما وصل إلى المنكبين ما وصل إلى شحمة الأذن ما تدلى من شعر الرأس مطلقا. So you can see there's three different meanings. That the first is this phone call that's coming in irritating y'all, or is it obstructing y'all's hearing or anything, or is it I don't even this phone call coming in. Okay. So فتحصل أن في الجملة ثلاثة أقوال. Normally I put it on flight mode so that no phone calls can come in, but now today I didn't, and that is why the phone calls are coming in. ما وصل إلى المنكبين ما وصل إلى شحمة الأذن ما تدلى من شعر الرأس مطلقا. So hair which reaches up until the shoulders, hair that reaches up until the earlobes, and hair that just hangs down from the head with no restriction. Wherever it leads to, it leads to. So these are the different meanings of the word Jumma. So now we'll have to see now what is the meaning of this. And for that, we need to concentrate on the next words. So up until now, from the preferred view, what did we mention is Jumma? Who can remember? What is the meaning of Jumma up until now, the preferred view? Yes, up until the shoulders. But now look at the next words. He's saying that the Prophet ﷺ had a Jumma. Ila shuhmati udunayhi. So he's saying, إلى شحمة أذنيه. What's the meaning of شحمة أذنيه? شحمة الأذن is موضع خرق القرط وهو ما لان من أسفلها. It is the spot where the earring hole is made. So you know, on the ears where you make your earring hole. I don't think we needed to put a picture for that for you all. We'll all understand what's an earring hole. What please can up explain how to determine the length? Should the length at the front be the length of any of these? What you mean at the front? So it's more, it's going towards the side, and that is why that image which was there, it's showing it from the side. So when it's going ila shahmati udhunay, it's like going over the ears and then going like that below and below. Does that answer your question? It refers to the side. So now here he's saying that ila shuhmatil udunayhi, that the jumma which we explain reaches the shoulders. He's saying that the Prophet ﷺ had hair that reaches the shoulders, which reached up until the earlobes. وَهِيَ مَا لَانَ مِنْ أَسْفَلِهَا. In case you don't know where you people put their earrings, the hole for the earrings, then he's spelling it out for you. It's the soft lower part of the ear. So if you just touch your ear and you touch it at the bottom, you'll see there's a soft lower part there. So it's up until there. So can you see that way he's mentioning it up until? So we'll come back to that. First, let's see now this word udun. Now, how do you pronounce it? Do you pronounce it as udun or do you pronounce it as udun? So, so it needs to be cut with a path. Um, um, like you mean that in the middle there must be a path so that it can go on this side and on that side. Is that what you're meaning? So basically, however the hair comes on the side. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, isn't we done in the eighth narration in Faraqat Aqisatu? So inshallah we'll explain that again. Is the name of Jumu'ah connected somehow with Jumma of hair? No, so the root letters of Jumma is Jim, Mim, and Mim. And Jumu'ah, it's Jim, Mim, and Ain. Ila, what does it have? Shuhm. Yeah, so it's ila, what did I pronounce it as? So I was supposed to pronounce it as ila shuhmati udunayhi. Did I pronounce it like that or did I pronounce it different? Okay, so you just pronounce it as shuhma. I think the percent is that the hair from the front be combed back and then measured. Yeah, so it can be combed back. It's basically this here, it means untied hair. Now, in the coming narration, actually, there's a whole there's a whole big there's a whole chapter on the hair of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So now the hair when it's untied and the hair when it's tied, also in the eighth narration. So that is where you explain it. So I hope I'm understanding the question correctly, and I hope I'm responding correctly. If I'm not responding correctly, then my seniors here they can respond. So it doesn't mean I'm talking, I'm the one who knows the most. I'm just doing mashk in front of my seniors. So whoever can answer it, inshallah, if I responded incorrectly or if I didn't understand the question. So nevertheless, yeah, what are we talking about now? We're talking about udun. Yeah, so what is it? Udun or udun? So it could be pronounced as both. If you want to pronounce it as udun, you pronounce it as udun. If you want to pronounce it as udun, you pronounce it as udun. So both are valid. You can pronounce the second letter, that dal, you can pronounce it what a dhamma on the dal, on the dal, and if you want to pronounce it with a sukoon, you can pronounce it with a sukoon on the dal. So Mullah Ali Qari rahmallah, he said, wal udhun bi dhammatain, that either it is with dhammatain as udhun. وسكون الدال لغتان, and you can even pronounce it as with a sukoon on the dal. These are two different linguistic variations. والأول أكثرها, that most of the time it's pronounced as udhun. But what's more popular? So can you see there's a difference between what's done a lot and what becomes popular? So he's saying, well, awal aktharuha. Try to digest it and try to make sense of that. Well, awal aktharuha. That the first, udhun, it's most of the time. But what thani, ashhar. That for something to become ashhar, it does not necessarily have to be akthar, isn't? It can be aqal. Something can happen little, but it can become more famous and more popular. A person can post one post and it can go viral. So it's little, but it's ashar. And another person can post 100 posts and it's like not viral. So now it's more, but it's not more popular. Now yeah, so this word shahma or shohma, however you want to pronounce it. You see, when I'm saying now we're supposed to follow this edition and that edition and that edition. So now in the Darul Gharb edition, actually in the Darul Gharb, I don't even have the Darul Gharb now. They say Al-Hifzu Yakhun. So now that your memory um, can sometimes deceive you. So now I'm not, but I would assume that in Darul Gharb there's no i'rab that's written. So if there's no i'rab, then I'm at liberty to pronounce it as Shahma or Shuhma. And if you're following the one edition, then you have to pronounce it according to what is mentioned in that edition. And nevertheless, for now, we'll just pronounce it as Shahma. So if the word udunay, it comes in the dual. Yes, so in the Darul Gharb, there's no i'rab, so that means it gives me liberty. But if you have to follow an edition which has an i'rab, then you have to follow the i'rab which they put there. When you are reading it, and then after that you can correct it. So you take it with a pinch of salt, but you first have to take it, isn't? Then after that you make it the pinch of salt, but you first have to take it. So when you're looking, you first say, and then after that you make a rad on them if it's wrong, or you mention the alternative or whatever. Nevertheless, so yeah, the word udunay, it is in the dual form, isn't? 2 ears. How many ears you all got? 2 ears. So 2 ears. But now the word shahma, that is singular. Now, isn't it supposed to correspond? That it's supposed to be dual. If you're saying 2 ears, then it's supposed to be shahmatayi udhunayhi. That is how it's supposed to be. So how can the word earlobes be in dual? And how can the word shahma be in singular? So you'll understand the objection. So the answer to this objection is that when you say when you're speaking about it, when you say a shuhma, then everybody will understand that it's referring to both ears. See, not one of you all asked me the question that shuhma is used so as all the hair going onto the one side. Like, the person combs all the hair to the right side or all the hair to the left side. Not one of you all asked me that question because you just understood it. That when you're saying shahma, it already refers to both ears. So Alama Muslih ad-Din Lari, he said, وإفراد الشحمة مع تثنية الأذن لكراهة تلاقي التثنيتين. So now if you can understand it, so now there's no need. So earlobes, شحمة أذنيه, it means the lobes of the ear, that soft portion of the where you put the earrings. So I explained it to you, the place where you put the spot where a person puts earrings, and then وهو معلان من أسفلها. If there was more lessons, I would have suggested to you all to make takarar groups, all males in one takarar group and all females in another takarar group. And whoever wants to join can join. But now we are finishing anyways for this time. So there's no need to give that kind of a suggestion. Then if you have the takarar group, then maybe you all could discuss and you all could understand and make sure everybody could understand, and the ulama could explain to those who don't understand. So in future, do you see this here? It's our first course now we're having like this year. Normally we have it with siblings of ilm, But for us, our organization hosting a course like this, so in the future, inshallah, when we host a course, number one, we'll advertise it only for ulama, and whoever else wants to join are most welcome to join, so that people don't join on the assumption that it's for everybody, and then a message that it's too detailed. And then the second is, then we'll make the Qurar groups, inshallah. Then you all can ask in the Qurar groups, and then even those who are not ulama can understand. What do you all think of that idea? It will be good, isn't it, for future? But make dua that we get the opportunity, because at the end of the day, we cannot do anything without the acceptance of Allah Ta'ala. So Allah Ta'ala have to give us the opportunity to have more causes like this. So we're making the intention, inshallah. Now, Allah Ta'ala, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we implore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us this opportunity. Then in the future, then, when you answer on that forms, they'll get the admin, they must see what gender you are, and then put you into a male group or into a female group. And then from there, then you'll make the Qurar groups. And then at some time in the day, then I say homework at least also. You see, and I'm saying homework, like the objective of it ought to be, I tell you to do this homework. So what the expected, what it would have been is like it opens a door of mudhakara that you could ask now, okay, so now we got this homework. Now, where do I go and look for it? How do I go and look for it? Like, for example, if I told you now, okay, Ibn Kathir. So now you ask, okay, so now where must we go and find about Ibn Kathir? Then I'll tell you, okay, go and find in that kitab, in that kitab, in that kitab. Then you get experience at so many kitabs. You understand what's the whole objective when I say homework, homework, homework? That you get experience with more kitabs, and then you also benefit through mudhakara, that you benefit with mudhakara more compared to what you benefit in the dars. So now it's not working out like this. And when you have these two groups, then you can make it together. Maybe in that homework, in that the takrar group, you can discuss that, okay, now this was the homework of last night. How do we find it? Where do we find it? Where do we go for it? Etc. So nevertheless, sorry, your question about asking us about Shahma took us off, right? Because we explained that Shahma, so that is why, and then I have to explain it again. So that is why I went off and when we explained this here. Nevertheless, so Mullah Ali Qari rahmallah, then he explained وأفرد الشحم مع إضافتها إلى التثنية كراهة اجتماع التثنيتين مع ظهور المراد. So can you see that when the meaning is evident, then it's better rather not to repeat two jewels, two things which denotes upon two, because you don't want to now overemphasize it. You don't want to sound monotonous, isn't it? You understand monotonous? So because you don't understand monotonous, so you don't now like you're using a redundant thing. Like we understand, okay, it's 2 years and it's referring to 2 years. Now, why must you rub it in our face that it's 2 years and mention even dual form? So that is why it's mentioned in the singular. Having said that, if you look in Sahih al-Bukhari, it actually comes, both words come in the singular. So in Sahih al-Bukhari, it comes, يَبْلُغُ شُحْمَةَ أُذُنِهِ. Can you see? Shuhma and shahma, it's also in the singular. And udunihi, it's also in the singular. So both words are in the singular. So now it's like a corresponding. But if you want to have a corresponding, then they both words are corresponding in the singular. So this very same narration comes in Sahih al-Bukhari, and you can see that this is the benefit of studying other books of hadith, that you can also get to come across and learn meanings of narrations that feature in Sahih al-Bukhari. So in Sahih al-Bukhari, definitely it has to be, it's according to the I'rab, it is pronounced as Shahma in the Darut Ta'sil edition. Those of you all who bought the Bayt Sunnah edition, if you want to, you can go see whether it's Shahma or Shuhma. Nevertheless, يَبْلُغُ الشَّحْمَةَ أُذُنِهِ. So this is how it's quoted in the common manuscripts and in the recensions of Sahih al-Bukhari. But then in some recensions of Sahih al-Bukhari, so you know how we got that book on Imam Tirmidhi, rahmallah? So we got books like that on all, on Imam Bukhari also, Imam Muslim also. So make dua that Allah Ta'ala makes it possible to publish the book on Imam Bukhari, then you'll understand all the differences, what they mean by this recension and that recension. Nevertheless, according to some recensions, how Sahih al-Bukhari was transmitted, there it was also transmitted as a dual. So Hafiz ibn Hajar rahmallah said, وفي رواية الكشميني أذنيه بالتثنية وفي رواية الإسماعيلي تكاد جمة تتصم شحمة أذنيه. Can you see? So this is how others have quoted it from within Sahih al-Bukhari. Now we come back to that point which I was mentioning. That we're saying Jumma is up until your earlobes. But then, Jumma is up until your shoulders. But then, yeah, he's clearly spelling it out and very emphatically telling us right up until the earlobes. So now, is Jumma until the earlobes or is it until the shoulders? Maybe our definition was wrong, that we said it's till the shoulders. But yeah, he's saying that it's still the earlobe. So maybe then we have to revisit the way we defined it. Or how is it? How can it be that he's specifying that it's still the earlobe, but they're mentioning right up until the mentioning a word which means that the hair reached up until the shoulders. You'll understand the objection. So Alama Bajuri, he said, لا يوافق ما تقدم لأن الذي يبلغ شحمة الأذن يسمى وفرة لا جمة. So this does not contradict what was previously mentioned, because what reaches he's saying la yuwafiq, it does not correspond with what was previously mentioned, because that which reaches up until the earlobes, it's called wafra, it's not called jumma, isn't? He said, well, just it's supposed to be called wafra, so it does not correspond. And Alama Munawi, he said that the word wafra should have actually been used in this context. He said, وَقَضِيَّةُ أَن يُقَالَ عَظِيمُ الْوَفْرَ إِلَى شُحْمَةِ الْأُذُنِ. That he should have rather said that the Prophet ﷺ had a huge wafra that reached up until the earlobes, لأن ما بلغ شحمتهما يسمى وفرة. Because what reaches up until the earlobes, it is called a wafra. So that is the objection. Now, do we call it wafra or do we call it jumma? Or if it's supposed to be a wafra, then why is the word jumma used? So there's few answers which are given. The first is semantic fluidity. Now, what's that? For some of us, that's very high words. For you all, is it high words? Or maybe for me, for grade 7 dropouts, semantic fluidity. What's that? So semantic fluidity, it means that these words are, it's not strictly by that meaning. That means you can use it like that, you can use it like that. The meanings are very flexible. That is the meaning of semantic fluidity. So however you want to use the meaning, sometimes you want to use it in this meaning, you can use it in that meaning. Sometimes you want to use it in the other meaning, you can use it in the other meaning. We explained in the beginning that the word jumma also could mean just hair. So sometimes you want to, you can use it in the meaning of hair. And sometimes you want to, you can use it in the meaning of hair that reaches up until the shoulder. So however you want to use it, you can use it. So Alama Lahji, he quoted from Diwan al-Adab, that the word, he explained from Diwan al-Adab, how the word will be used in different meanings. He said, وَفِي دِيوَانِ الْأَدَبِ أن الجمة هي الشعر إذا تدلى من الرأس إلى شحمة الأذن. So it is that word which flows and hangs down from the head right up until the ear lobes. So that's the one meaning. وإلى المنكبين, and at other times it could be right up until the shoulders. وإلى أكثر من ذلك, maybe not even till the ear lobes, till halfway your back, right down even. That still sweeping the ground so much, no matter where your hair reaches, it could be considered as Jumma. Why? Because it just refers to hair, but it's putting the minimum point is that it starts from earlobes. So this is now semantic fluidity, isn't it? You can use it however you want to use it. So Alama Munawi, he said, even if you don't want to take it as the literal meaning, then at least you can consider it as the majazi meaning. So he said, فَلِذَا قِيلْ لَعَلَّ الْمُرَادْ بِالْجُمَّةِ الْوَفْرَ تَجَوُّزًا. That the meaning of Jumma is wafra in the metaphorical sense. So this here is the one explanation. Alama Bajuri explained, وَأَقْرَبْ مَا وُفِّقَ بِهِ أَنَّ فِيهَا لُغَاتٍ وَكُلُّ كِتَابٍ اقْتَصَرَ عَلَى شَيْءٍ مِنْهَا. So that you get this lughat, that you have this different linguistic usages. So sometimes you want to use it in another linguistic way, then you can use it in another linguistic way. So and then Alama Munawi, he said, وَهَذَا مَحَلٌ قَدْ تَنَاقَضَتْ فِيهِ كُتُبُ اللُّغَةِ وَتَعَارَضَتْ فِيهِ الرِّوَايَاتِ. So can you see that it's like all the books, they just mentioning one portion of the word. So it's one portion of the word, that means you could consider the or one meaning of the word. You could consider the other meanings as well, and you could use it in those other meanings. So that's the first. It's the first meaning. The second way of answering this, that's the first way of answering this, that he's using the word Jumma, which means up until earlobe, but he's saying ila shahmati uzunehi. Then the second way is that you can reconcile it. So, how you reconcile it? That that the hair of the Prophet ﷺ would reach up until the earlobe. That's where all the hair would reach. Then you would have strands, which would then go down right up until the right up until the shoulders. So if a person was looking from very far, then they would assume that all the hair is just by the earlobes, because that's where the bulk is. Isn't Jumma? We said it's it has that meaning of bulk. So now can you see those 5 meanings? So Jumma refers to the bulk of the hair, where most of the hair was gathered, and then you had the small strands of hair which would go down, go down, go down, go down, up until the earlobe. When you would come closer, then you would notice, okay, there is some hair which is going there. So he said, وَأُجِبْ بِأَنَّ الْمُرَادْ أَنَّ مُعْظَمَ شَعْرِهِ كَانَ عِنْدَ شَحْمَةِ أُذُنِهِ. That majority of his hair was up until his earlobes. وَمَا اسْتَرْسَلَ مِنْهُ مُتَّصِلٌ إِلَى الْمَنْكِبِ. And then there was that little hair which would then extend. And now, if you look at the words of this, he specifically used the word azim, isn't it? So that word azim which he used, he used it for a reason. متعلق بعظيم لبيان أن عظم جمته وكثرتها وتكاثفها ينتهي إلى شحمة أذنيه. That the reason why he used that word azim is to show you that majority of the hair, the abundance of the hair, the thickness of the hair, all of that would reach up until the earlobes, and then there would be hair that would also reach up until the shoulders. So Bara radiallahu anhu, he's like hinting to it by using the word Jumma. You understand? Like he knows that his audience would be very sharp to get this point. That we say little things, use little words to give a lot of meaning. So he wants to tell you that the hair would reach up until the earlobes, and then you would have a hair which would go right up until the shoulders. So he knew that, okay, let me use the word which indicates that hair would reach up until the shoulders, so the audience will understand, okay, the hair would ultimately reach up until the earlobes, but where would majority of the hair be? It would be right up until the uh, earlobes. So is it making sense? Why am I getting tongue twisted, that idea? So علما مصلح الدين العري يصير يحتمل تعلق قولي إلى شحمة أذني بعظيم. That take note that the word عظيم was used لإفادة أن عظمه كان إلى شحمة الأذن. That majority of it was up until the earlobes. But then Mullah Ali Qari rahmallah, he rejected this here. He's saying that no, the word azim is not to explain that. Now we're taking the word azim to explain something different. He said فالمراد بيان نهاية غلظها وعظمها لا بيان نهاية الجمة. The word azim is actually used to show you where majority of the hair should reach. The objective is not to show you where the jumma would reach. So nevertheless, that's the second meaning. Then you have the third meaning, the third way of reconciling, not the third meaning, the third way of reconciling. I don't want to make it through lens. No, so it means that the hair used to be like that. If a person grows long hair, then the hair grows like that. Like the hair naturally grows like that at the different lengths. Like, if you have to cut your hair, then when it's growing, it will grow at a different length. Also, for those of you who are doing ifta, what's the ruling of cutting the hair different lengths? So you must research it, inshallah. Okay, you must find out what's the ruling to have hair that's 2 lengths. So don't go with what you know. Go and research it. Go open books. Today, what's the way of researching? Just forward the question to a mufti, isn't it? That's research it. I'll get back to you. We're just going to check the masla and then just forward it to a mufti. So now I got what you call a standard answer which we wrote. So the minute people start to forward me questions, then I just send them that standard document. That I don't offer this service of answering all 100 questions which come to you, and then another 100 which goes to the other imam there, and then another 25 which goes to that upper there, and another 73 which went to that Maulana because he's the leader of his locality, and another. And by the time this person don't know that person forwarded the questions, and that person don't know that person forwarded the questions. At the end of the day, I'm sitting now with hundreds and hundreds of messages. So just send everyone that send a document. So yeah, and the AI too also. So just put it on the ChatGPT. So we use ChatGPT to sort out health, not for Deen, isn't it? You want to know now if your stomach is sore, and I could put it in ChatGPT. What it means if my stomach is sore? That's what you use AI for, not to find out now what's to find out masalas. So that's the next meaning, and then the meaning is. So you're gonna get the document, forward me questions, and you'll get the document. I'm just joking. Then the next is that it's paraphrased by narrators. So the narrators, they are the ones who go change the word. So if you look, Imam Bukhari, rahmallah, he quoted this and he used the word sha'r. He didn't use the word jumma. So how it comes in Sahih al-Bukhari, كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم مربوعا بعيد ما بين المنكبين له شعر يبلغ شحمة أذنه. Can you see? So له شعر, he's using the word sha'r. Now there's no objection the way it's quoted in Sahih al-Bukhari. So after quoting this, Imam Bukhari rahmallah, then he also said قال يوسف بن أبي إسحاق عن أبيه إلى منكبيه. But the point here is that he used the word الشعر. And then Alama Badruddin Aini rahmallah, they had to explain it now that أي يبلغ الجمة إلى منكبيه, because the word sha'r was used in the hadith. So can you understand? So that is how it comes in Sahih al-Bukhari. Then you know how on a Thursday night we're doing Kitab al-Zuhd of Abdullah ibn al-Mubarak rahmallah. So maybe we might consider changing it because now we're struggling to get the best edition of the Kitab. But up until the end of June, we're doing Kitab al-Zuhd of Abdullah ibn al-Mubarak. So like that, Imam Waqi' rahmallah, he also wrote Kitab al-Zuhd. So, and then from him, Imam Muslim rahmallah quoted it. So I told you there's different ways of making takhrij. One is you can just quote it directly from and say Imam Muslim quoted in his Sahih, because Imam Muslim quoted it, and then it's clear that okay, Imam Muslim quoted. But I told you, yeah, the objective, I'm not giving a bayan, it's to teach you. This is now teaching you a point that you can sometimes mention the earlier scholar and then mention after that Imam Muslim quoted from him. So in Sahih Muslim it comes, and Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah also quoted in his Kitab al-Zuhd, ما رأيت من ذي لمة في حلة حمراء من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم له شعر يضرب منكبيه. So you can see again, it is شعر. And then now you look at two other students of Shu'bah. So remember who's the student of Shu'bah in this narration? It's Ghundar. But then you have Alama ibn Hibban rahmallah. So there it comes through Hawdh and Ibn Kathir quoting from Shu'bah. So now the point, I'm sure you're all getting this point now, that we don't just look at the one narration, we have to look at all other chains of this narration, how all the other students quoted it. So now see here, now how did the other students of Shu'bah quote it? Then again, they also quoted it, لَوْ شَعْرٌ يَبْلُغُ شَحْمَةُ ذُنَيْهِ. Can you see? That he had hair that reached up until his earlobes. So now when you consider all of this meaning, then you can go back to that what we mentioned, that first meaning, that al-jumma ash-sha'r. Now there is no contradiction. You can interpret this narration in light with of the other narrations. Like that, you can even consider it as long hair. It's not going to differ with that. So Munafiz al-Rahman Haqqani, he said, فعلى هذا يمكن أن يراد بالجمة هنا الشعر لا المعنى متعارف عند الجمهور. That based on this, you can just take the meaning Jumma to refer to a sha'r. So that is the next meaning. So what meaning is that? Not meaning. Every time I'm saying meaning. So when I'm saying meaning, I'm meaning the answer. Okay. So from meaning, I mean answer. So that's what answer is that now? Number 4, number 3, number 4. I can just count how many answers were given. Then the next answer is that it all refers. So now this here is number 5, isn't it? So it's now going to become 10 marks, 2 marks, 2 marks, 2 marks, 2 marks. So now for the next 2 marks, it refers to the viewpoint and perspective. So this also then goes, probably, if I understood that question correctly, then from the viewpoint that you are looking at the hair, that is what is going to create the difference. That if you are looking at it from the side, then it's going to look like it's just reaching up until the earlobes. And if you go from behind and you look at it, then you will see that it's reaching up until the shoulders. So Allama ibn Hajar Haytami said, وَجُمِعَ بَيْنَهُمَا بِأَنَّ مَا يَلِي الْأُذُنُ وَالَّذِي يَبْلُغُ الشُّحْمَةَ. That what's by the ears. So this is what is on the side. That would reach up until the earlobes. وَمَا خَلْفَهَا وَالَّذِي يَضْرِبُ مَنْكِبَيْهِ. And whatever was in the back, that would reach up until the shoulders. So Mullah Ali Qari rahimahullah, he quoted from Qadi Iyad rahimahullah, فَعْلَمْ أَنَّ الْقَاضِ عِيَاضًا قال الجمع بين هذه الروايات أن من شعره ما كان في مقدم رأسه وهو الواصل إلى نصف أذنيه والذي بعده هو ما بلغ شحمة الأذن وما يليه والكائن بين أذنيه وعاتقه وما كان خلف الرأس هو الذي يضرب منكبيه. Can you see, he's saying that what was at the back of the head. So looking at it from that side, for looking at it from behind, it would appear that it reaches up until the shoulders. And looking at it from the side, it would mean that it reaches up until the earlobes. Does it make sense? It makes sense for you. It didn't make sense for Mullah al-Qari. So he said, وَهُوَ لَا يَخْلُو مِنْ بُعْدٍ. This here is now too far-fetched now. How can the hair be that side and this side different and that side different? And that's so for Mullah al-Qari, rahmallah, it didn't make sense. If you said G, it made sense for you, but it didn't make sense for him. So likewise, Alama Munawi, rahmallah, he also objected on this here and he said, أن من وصف شعره إنما أراد مجموعه ومعظمه لا كل قطعة منه. Doesn't mean now that's that strand of hair and that strand of hair. He's not describing all the different strands and strands and strands of hair. Otherwise, it will leave you stranded on how to understand what he's talking. He's just explaining something which the normal audience must understand. He's not a PhD professor explaining there to in a elite universities, and they're all going to understand, okay, that strand of hair reach till that point, that strand of hair reach up until this point. He's explaining to general people there. So they said, no, this here, it doesn't make sense. Also, Fayzur Rahman, he said, وَهَذَا الرَّدْ مَعْقُولٌ كَمَا تَرَى. This, you can see this objection of his is reasonable. It's not, he's not just objecting for no reason. To say that in the back it's this side, on the side it's that side, that doesn't make sense. So he just mentioned here for us to make our exam longer, for you to get extra 2 marks. So he's just mentioning it here for you to know that this is an answer which has been presented, but scholars rejected this answer. And then the other meaning is that it refers to different occasions. So now your hair, it doesn't all the time stay at one length, isn't it? If you go and cut it today, it will be short. And then after 1 month, it will be a little bit longer. And after 2 months, it will be even longer. And after 3 months, it will be even longer. You know, and we are studying in madrasa, one of the punishments used to be to go and cut your hair. So the punishment is you must go and become a blessed cop. In yours madrasas also, did they make that kind of punishment? Your punishment is, so you see the person coming now for salah there with no hair on his head, means that he gets some punishment, even he go do some nonsense. So it was entirely punishment back in the day. So nevertheless, Imam Tirmidhi rahmallah, he quoted like another narration to show you that كنت أغتسل أنا ورسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من إناء واحد وكان له شعر فوق الجمة ودون الوفرة. So can you see different lengths which are being mentioned? So now in the different narrations, you're going to get different lengths. So Bara ibn Azib, in this particular narration, he decided that he's giving you one description of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But now the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have different lengths. So he's indicating towards the different lengths at different periods of time. Like for example, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went for Hajjatul Wada and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam cut his hair, then it would have been a different length, etc. So it's basically he's subtly indicating, if you want to call it that way, to the different lengths of the hair of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In another narration, Anas radiallahu anhu said, and it comes in a Jami of Ma'mar ibn Rashid, كان شعر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى أنصاف أذنيه. So it's like succinctly trying to indicate that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had hair at different lengths. So in one narration, Anas Qatada mentions that Anas radiallahu anhu was asked about the hair of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he said, "Kana sha'ru bayna ash-sha'rayn la sabt wala ja'd bayna udhunayhi wa atiqihi." So basically mentioning the different hairs, the different lengths at different times. So Qadhi Iyad rahmallah, he said, "Well, ذلك الاختلاف الأوقات." That it all refers to different times. And then coming now to the commentators here of the Shama'il, so Alama ibn Hajar Haytami rahmallah, he said, أو بأن ذلك الاختلاف الأوقات, that all of this here now refers to different times. فكان إذا ترك تقصيرها بلغت المنكب. That when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would not trim his hair, then it would go all the ways up until his shoulders. It would be a jumma. فإذا قصرها أو قصرها, when he would trim his hair, كانت إلى الأذن أو شحمتهما أو نصفهما. فكانت تطول وتقصر بحسب ذلك. So that is how it sometimes it would be long and sometimes it would be short. So that's the other answer. Then the next answer is that it varies within the different times on a single period. So within a single day even, like sometimes you comb your hair in a day, now it's going to appear to be a different length. And then you don't comb your hair, or you tie your hair and then it's going to appear to be at a different length. And then you leave it loose and then it will appear to be at a different length. So basically that because on in a day, just how you're keeping your hair during that period. So in Fath al-Bari, Hafiz ibn Hajar rahmallah said, "Oh, yuhmalu ala halatain." That refers to different situations. So maybe when the Prophet ﷺ applied oil to his hair, and he would comb it straight and it would reach up until his shoulders. And then remember, we said it was slightly curvy. So now when it was not combed like that to be so straight, and it was curvy, so now it wouldn't reach up until the shoulders. So Alama Qurani rahmallah, he said, ذكر في الرواية بعده يبلغ منكبي قلت كان إذا رجل يبلغ المنكب, that when he would comb his hair, then it would reach up until his shoulders. Mullah al-Qari rahmallah, he said, يمكن أن يكون في حال جمعهما إلى شحمة الأذن ويلائمها عظمها ووصولها إلى المنكب في حال إرسالها. That when he would gather the hair together, then it would be up until the earlobes. And when he would leave the hair just to flow, then it would flow right up until the shoulders. So these are in total, how many answers were given? So in which answer do you all choose? Or do you all choose all the answers? Or is there maybe one answer that you're feeling like it's far-fetched? Maybe one day when you're teaching, when you're writing your commentary on the Shama'il, then you'll write like Mullah Ali Qari and then say that, yeah, this year is now too. Now you're taking it too much, stretching it too much. So you can decide. We presented, when you go for some dawats, for some meals, then they let you go and choose all whatever food you want to. So they have like maybe lots and lots of dishes there. Now you want to eat the fish, you can eat the fish. You don't eat fish, then okay, you go there. And then you can eat the chicken. You don't want to eat chicken, okay, you can go there and you can go and eat something else. So you choose what you want to choose. So like that, yeah, we just gave you all the dishes. Now you can decide which dish, or if you want to maybe eat a little bit of everything, or you want to eat everything, or you don't like one of the answers. So whichever one you like, you like. Whichever one you don't like, you don't like. Okay, so we can stop there. So basically, what's the whole conclusion of the whole thing? It's that you got all these answers. Yeah, so this is the buffet. So you like our buffet? I had a question, with your permission, I wanted to ask. Okay. If there was any makruh length for hair or a length that is what? If there was any makruh length for hair or length that is preferred to cut it. No, so what's makruh is to resemble a female. So if you make your hair resemble a female's hair, the person look at you, you shaved off, not you, a person looks at the man, he shaved off his beard and he's making his hair grow so long, the men are walking past him and they're lowering their gaze. You think maybe it's one auntie standing there. So that's what's makruh, because now you're resembling a female. Yes, of course, you don't even have to ask to leave. The time is over now. Uh, what? Which one do I? I lean to that answer there. That is just use the word Juma. Why you want to go scrutinize his words like that? So use Juma in the meaning of Sha'ar. If you imagine you have to scrutinize my words to that level, you'll have to. No, you use the word Juma, use the word Juma. And Juma comes in the meaning of Sha'ar. So no long, uh, uh, no need to become too technical. What? Ustad, what can we do if we keep doing sins and not feeling like doing tawbah and dua? Then you need to, number one, make, you see, you get different kinds of punishments on the nafs. Either it's time or either it's wealth. So you must see, which punishment you want to put on yourself. So either every time you do a sin, you say, okay, I'm going to give 5 rand or whichever country you love, $5, 5 rupees, whichever country, in sadaqah. So now it becomes hard on the nafs. Now imagine you do a sin 5 times a day, now you have to give 25. And you make the amount bigger even. Now if you're a millionaire, then you say, I'm going to give 500, 1,000 rand. So you make that, and then you say you're going to read 2 rakat salah. Then you fight your nafs. When you do that sin, you go and do it. Now shaitan is not happy because you are making, you're going and you're making 2 rakats tawbah, and then you are giving sadaqah, and that sin is bringing you closer to Allah Ta'ala. And your nafs also is not going to like it because your nafs now will say, oh, it's so cold if you're living in South Africa or in the southern part of the world, or it's so tiring because now it's so hot and I don't want to go make wuzu and read 2 rakats. But you fight your nafs and you go and do it. So then shaitan is going to give up also because shaitan is making you sin. Why? Because he wants to take you away from Allah Ta'ala. But you are becoming, inna Allah yuhibbu tawabin. You are becoming closer to Allah Ta'ala. So shaitan will say, okay, let me leave them. Rather, they don't sin and don't get so close to Allah Ta'ala. And your nafs also is going to give up. And when shaitan and your nafs gives up, then you'll leave out sins. Sorry, Mufti, not related to lesson directly, just curious if Mufti Zafam how he had the opportunity to be in the company of an entire week with any 3 scholars, aside from Aimma Arba'a alive, or of those who will Mufti choose and why. Subhanallah, now you're asking me a question like that. You take thousands and thousands and thousands of scholars now, must only choose 3 scholars. So the one scholar, if you're saying not Imam Arba'a, so I would really, really, really love to be in the company of Abdullah ibn Mubarak. I just love him, love him, love him, love him. Second is I would love to be in the company of Imam Zuhri, rahmallah. Just love him, love him, love him with all my heart. Third is I would love to be with Imam Malik, rahmallah. He would shout me also, I wouldn't mind. I would stay with him. Just love him, love him, love him. Make dua. Al-mar'u ma'a man ahabba. So I don't have any good actions, but at least just to be with all of these scholars. And you said not with the Imam Arba'a, so I would like to be with Imam Muhammad Shaybani. So those are the 4. What is of you and girls going to stay in madrasa? In any good recommendations for online Alamiya girls? So, yesterday I told you all that it depends on the environment at home. Also on this, it depends on the environment at home. That if at home there's lots of see, I'm saying punishment, which is the outcome. There's a lot of sins which is taking place. So whether it's sins, like for example, lots of music, there's no parda, there's no just so much murat all the time. And then maybe the company, it's like toxic also. Now the girl and the mother every day they're fighting. Then rather she must go away to the madrasa. So at least she's out of that kind of bad environment. And if at the home there's a very good environment, and also so one is good environment and one is discipline, that she'll have that discipline. Like, now classes start at 9 o'clock, she'll be there at 9 o'clock. You can see here the discipline, isn't? We start at 9 o'clock, there's 200 people, but by 10 past 9, there's 450. Normally 550, but Saturday night, it's now became 450. So it makes it that we don't have to write so much ijazah. So more than half are not on time. So you must have that kind of discipline to respect the dars, that adab of the dars, learning that you must be there before your ustad and all of that. Then you have to do it online also. You can't only, it's not only in person. That it's a disgrace for your ustad to be in the dars before you. So now, like that kind of adab, and that if you don't do it, you must be waiting for knowledge. It mustn't be that you come there and take knowledge at your convenience. So all of that kind of etiquette, if it's taught, etc., and then it's better rather she learn at home because, of course, there's she can be then in more parda in etc. Is it makruh for bride to wear a long trail dress on a wedding function, even if it's a separate function? So now this year, if I'm going to answer it, are you going to take my fatwa? Or you're not going to take my fatwa. So rather, if you ask a mufti whose fatwa you're going to take, because maybe my view will differ from other muftis. So then you're just getting my view, and it's going to make you more confused. But if you want my view, then according to me, yes, it's permissible. Mullah al-Qadhi said when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gathered his hair, it appeared shorter. Does this refer to tying the hair? Yeah, so we do it in the coming. I told you there's a whole chapter on the hair of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would tie his hair. Is it permissible for a female to dress like a male and take on the role play of a make in a play? No, it's not permissible. And even if the appas make the small children do it, then they get sin. Because imagine the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is cursing. Do you know it's a curse of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? It's cursing that female who acts like a male and that male who wants to be like a female. So how much you have to be precautious and save how much to save yourself from the curse of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. May I know how does one reply when a person says that it's not needed to cover the head whilst reciting the Quran, eating? When we say that it's adab, they say that why do you have to cover when going to the bathroom? So why you mustn't have adab when you go into the bathroom? So, firstly, for adab, in the books of hadith, you can see how many different explanations muhaddithun give. So when going in the bathroom also, the muhaddithun, they give lots of different explanations on why you must cover your hair for going in the bathroom. One explanation is that stench sticks to the hair. So if you go to the bathroom, it can leave your hair smelling. I'm just telling you, like, the buffet of answers. If you want to accept it, accept it. If you want to accept it, don't accept it. According to others, because there's jinn. I told you yesterday about khubus wal khaba'ith. So there's jinn there. So that is why you cover your hair. The third is that you must have haya with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all times. So there's different answers which are given on why you cover your hair. So like that also when reciting the Quran, when eating at all times, you try to cover your hair out of having adab. So there's no rule that you can't have adab when going to the toilet. You say that yes, like how I'm having adab, I'm a very mu'adab person. So I have adab when I'm reading Quran also, and I have adab when I go to the toilet also. In at the beginning of Sunan Nabi Dawud, Salman Farsi radiallahu anhu is saying that they would laugh at the Muslims and saying that your Prophet is teaching you everything, like how you go to the toilet. Your Prophet is teaching you that how you must go to the toilet. So this is not something that we are that we feel ashamed about. Rather, we feel very honored that what a complete religion we have. That our Prophet, yes, he taught us everything, like even how must we go to the toilet. So it's not something that we like feel like. How is it that we have to observe this kind of adab when going to the toilet? No, there's adab even for the toilet. Mm, Sorry, I'm now gone back to. I'm going actually lost from your chat. I'm lost. I'm trying to get the chat. I can't get the chat open. Mm, Okay, so is it against adab if you're looking after kids at the same time as listening to lessons? Sometimes I have to speak over. What is that? No, so you have to firstly, you have to take into consideration if you already spend time like in durus, etc. Like when you are younger, then if that is like this year is now you're doing it as a postgraduate thing, then of course if you have your other chores on the side, it's fine. And one is like this year it's your main dars, then you should try to like maybe see if there is anyone else who can look after the kids or something like that, so that you can be totally focused. But as much as possible, you should try to honor the dars. I told you one of the scholars was Imam Malik rahmallah, isn't it? In our book, which is going to be printed soon, inshallah, you'll read how Imam Malik rahmallah would respect durus. So as much as possible, try to respect the dars. But now, ma la yudraku kullu la yutraku kullu. That if you can't now, because maybe say no one else want to look after the kids at that time, and they're just going to come in and all of that, then you rather just attend the durus, and then and then you can speak to them, and then at the end you just ask for maaf at the end. Sorry, all questions are all going now. If a person is being degraded while teaching a hadith by another ustad, would it be preferable to not teach anymore? So this year you're going to have to discuss with your sheikh the details of it. In which way are they degrading you? Who is that person? Is it an ustad who's degrading you? Are they trying to make you a islah? Like on what basis are they degrading you, etc. It's like no standard answer can be. You have to have a sheikh or a mentor or a supervisor or a coach in life. Then all of these kind of issues you're going to discuss with your sheikh. Then your sheikh, you see, when you take bait to a sheikh, like for us, we give you a long form that you have to fill in. Well, the reason for that form is now we understand everything about you. Now we understand, okay, maybe you have this kind of a sickness. You'll see that form. Maybe you have this kind. So then when we have to answer you, we have to answer you in light of that. So then it's not just like now something which is just like a standard answer. It has to be as specialized for your individual circumstance. So there's so much detail which will go into this here. So that's your homework. Is it permissible for men to shave their hair in the front? Then that's you have to tell me. That's my question to you. So now don't throw my question to you back to me. You must find out and do that homework, inshallah. What should one do if one's parents calls for them whilst they're in adults, as a student or as a teacher? So you have to look. Number one is that before the dars, you must inform them that you are in the dars. So now they know you're in the dars. Number two is you look at the tone, like what they're calling you. Do you sense a sense of urgency, or there's no sense of urgency? If you sense urgency, you leave everything, you leave the dars immediately, and you go. If there's no sense of urgency, maybe they didn't know you in the dars, then you don't have to respond immediately. Sometimes just from the way they're calling you, you can work out. You can say, like, just say if a person's name is Muhammad, then but they say Muhammad, Muhammad, you know, okay, now he's to run. Say Muhammad, then you know it's not so urgent. So you just have to look at the tone, and then maybe say that the tone is also showing not urgency, but then she's calling the second time. Then you leave and go. Then when you leave and go, then you can maybe remind her that you're in the terrace and ask her, and then yeah. Can you tell us about? And I just wrote it in a book and I've kept the book with me. So basically, that's, yeah, she wrote the whole thing. Now, different people gave me the different perspectives. Some said I shouldn't have said it because it's more the dua in Medina Munawwara. And others said it's a khidmah. Isn't when you make khidmah, you get dua. So now different people are giving me the different perspectives on the whole thing. So you must just do it with this intention. You see, this person here who wrote this salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was a person such. He wrote it in the 890s, so about 550 years ago. And it's actually Misbah al-Zalam is a singular. That's how he wrote it. But I call it Masabih because I consider each and every one. You see, now we came out from load shedding, so we know now you got okay a light in this room, a light in that room, a light in that room, and if you don't have a light, so because of that, taking good omens. So that is why me I changed the name to Masabih al-Zalam, but it's actually Misbah al-Zalam. So it's written by Sheikh Nuruddin Shuni. Sheikh Nuruddin Shuni, he was such. Now, this year you mustn't go tell to everybody because some people now they Aqidah, and if you're not a scholar, then just now don't listen what I'm saying now. He, because it's going to make you confused, so that is why I don't listen. So go do something else if you're not a scholar. And if you are a scholar, then you can listen. And if you think you can manage to understand this kind of now in-depth Aqidah issues. So he made himself free just for reciting Durud. So from Isha to Fajr, only and only and only and only and only and only and only reciting Durud, nothing else. From Fajr to Dhahar, only and only and only and only reciting Durud. He go to sleep, get up again, start Durud. Um, and then up until Asr, and then from Asr to Maghrib. So besides necessities, every single moment after it was dedicated to Durud. This is how his life was. And you take Bay'ah to him, you must go sit with him and make Durud. You understand? How many of you would have gone to take bear with him? You want to go take bear with him? You have to go. Okay, come take bear. Come sit with me. Whole day we're just going to read Durud. All night we're just going to read Durud. We fall off to sleep. We fall off to sleep. Wake up. We continue reciting Durud. So that was his life. So now he's all the time just reciting Durud, just reciting Durud. Then he began to see Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in an awakened state. Now this is why I told you all yesterday. I don't want to tell you all this whole story. Because now you might think, if you go read Abiti, you'll see as Shaykh Rahmallah also talks about seeing Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in an awakened state. When Hussein Ahmad Madani Rahmallah, he also spoke about seeing Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in an awakened state. So not in a sleeping state, you see Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in an awakened state. So there's now a lot of issues in Aqidah, and how do you now view this? Because if Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is in an awakened state, like say now I say Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is in an awakened state here, then what happens to those who are by the cover of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam making salam there? And there's a lot of i'tirazas. It comes a very, very, very academic discussion and all of that. Can you see? Nevertheless, so from there, then he got this salawat. And he was the first person who started to create majalis of durud. So his students mentioned that before him, no one knew about having this majalis. I told you, take Betim, you must go sit with him and read durud. Then the next person take Betim, must go sit with him and read durud. So it becomes gatherings of durud. So before that, they never used to have gatherings where you meet for durud and live for durud. Your only sole purpose of meeting is durud. So then he wrote this, and then when he wrote it, then it was now it started to in his life. It spread like in all of different parts of the world, and that is why so many people are saying that he's the first one to start all these majalis of durud. Now again, questions are going to come about, was it bid'ah? How come scholars before him did not do it? So now can you understand why I didn't want to tell you all the whole long story about it? Nevertheless, he started it, and then all over they would gather and read it at a time of difficulty. And when they gather and read it, then they found the difficulties are going away. So that is what is a wazifa, isn't it? That you do a wazifa and then it goes away. So I'm only telling you all till there. You got any questions? Go ask the ulama. Don't ask me now. I told you all that don't now you're asking me all about this year. And it's more detail. I just told you all now a little bit. But there's even more detail. There's after he passed away, hey, there's heavy things. You'll read it. You have to have a solid grounding in Aqidah to understand what and what is happening. If we purchase an Islamic book that contains an image of a face with visible eyes, what is the appropriate action to do? Should we obscure the eyes by scribbling over them, or is the preferred meaning or such? So, firstly, it's not only the eyes. You have to take out the nose and the face. If a person doesn't have eyes, can they laugh? Okay, now I won't see all the answers because I don't go all the way down. And but if a person doesn't have a nose and a mouth, you won't be able to laugh. So you have to take out the whole face. If it's a book, you just if it's on the cover, then you just rather cover the book. You buy some cover and you cover the book. And then otherwise, on you must then maybe if you want to keep the book nice, then it also depends now whether it's a textbook, what's the objective of the book. Then you just cover all the faces and then you sketch out the faces or put a sticker on the faces or anything like that. Yes, most definitely you can take a leave. Yes, so you can write to me at my email address if you want to. If a girl done bed with one sheikh and she gets a proposal from a different sheikh, is it okay? There should be only one. No, it's okay, but it must be a discussion. You make mashwara. And after you take bed with one sheikh and then you want to go to another sheikh, you can make mashwara. And then you just go, you do things in an ethical way. That sheikh now knows he's responsible for your islah. On a day of Qiyamah, if you can hold him accountable if he doesn't assist you. You ask him about your issues and he doesn't assist you and try to help you, you can hold him accountable because you're handing over your islah to him. So now you take bear to a sheikh. Now and then after that you get married, and now your husband is bear to another sheikh. Now that sheikh he says that microwave food is haram, and your sheikh say microwave food is halal, and you want to put things in a microwave and make it hot. That's going to create a problem, isn't it? So then they make mashwara out your sheikh and say, look, now my husband is on that vibe. So now maybe to keep understanding in our house and to make life easier, can we just follow, can I follow that sheikh with your permission, with utmost humility? You're right, when you say that, can I break my bay'ah with you and go take bet? And yes, a genuine sheikh will definitely say, because it's not about numbers. So, and actually you'll prefer that people don't take bay'ah with you because you know what, you're getting additional responsibility. Sheikh, we understand from the statements of the scholars in various ahadith that the Prophet ﷺ was perfect in every way, and we also understand if, if a young man seeks to follow his sunnah and chooses to keep his hair slightly long while ensuring it is clean, condition well maintained, but he begins to notice gradual hair loss at the age of just 22, what can he do to address this? Despite his efforts, he is slowly losing his hair, and we seek your guidance on how he can. So this year, firstly, you have to check what the medically isn't. Why is he losing his hair? So you go and check there must be a reason he's losing his hair. So it's like a person saying that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had a beard, but now for me only a bok is growing. You know, it's a bok. The Piconi and the chin little bit is growing. So, how can I follow the sunnah? So, in your case, okay, now, or in this person's case, they must first go and check medically. Then, also, the signs of Jadoo, one of the signs of black magic on you is that you start to lose hair. So then, because jinn need hair to make jadoo. So you understand? So they need your hair or your nail. Then it becomes super easy for them. So you need to go check whether that could be a reason. Then also nazar. Maybe he was looking so handsome with his young, with his beautiful hair, and someone came to say, "Hey, you have so smart hair," and now because of that, now his hair is getting lost. So you need to find out all of that, and then you can take it from there. Which online madrasas Multizam suggests for girls? I don't know about the online madrasas, so maybe the others who know about it, they can respond. The main thing is that you mustn't see a male's face during the lesson, because if you are female, so now there's people who are better to me, and I get questions like this where the girl falls for the ustad because of seeing the face, and there's so many from different parts of the world also. A young girl at home, she's not mixing with anybody, all day looking at this man's face in the screen. Obviously, she's going to fall for you. So then, I can tell you with so many evidence and so many written reports of from girls from pious families. So that's very important to make sure that you're not seeing the male's face. You don't have to see his face all day. And then whoever knows about good madrasas, you can inform. I don't know. What is the procedure of us taking better notice? So you write to my email, Musa, Moosa at gmail.com. Then you get the form. Then you have to fill in that form. That form is like all the details in your life. Then you must make istikhara, whether it's good for you to take bay'ah to me. And I also make istikhara. And only if my istikhara is positive that I can assist you, then only, then I accept it. So for some people, it's not positive because maybe it will become too difficult. And I just tell them. "Mm, Can we females do qasida burra with Musaf's family, please?" My family, I told you, they gone. So make dua for my wife's mother. She's ill, so my wife is going to make her khidmah. That is how come I can sit and talk to you like this here so much. So she's making khidmah of her mother. So please don't disturb her, and please don't write to her, and don't trouble her right now. Make the dua for her mother, inshallah. Someone wants to memorize. I would also wanted to go, but because of students coming for ijazat, and also because of uh, clearing all the backlog of the work, so that is why I did not go. And then we're having this lessons also. Someone wants to memorize the Shama'il. Should you memorize with the Synod? Yes, as much as possible, try to memorize with the Synod. Why? Because if you memorize with the Synod, you see, if I have to ask you who's your classmates in madrasa, and I don't know if you're alima, but even from school, if I ask you who's your classmates, you'll be able to note to tell me all of them. But you didn't go and swat off their names, isn't it? How you got to know their names is because they became very familiar to you. So like that, once you start to memorize the names of the asanid, they will become very familiar to you. And then when you see them, it's like you know them. And yes, try to memorize it. Advice for me, and lean completely, leaving the other wife hanging and keeping her. Sure, there's a question which you'll have to ask people that experience how to answer that. Again, maybe mention it to your sheikh and get it's like a it's gonna have to you have to give so much detail to get the proper answer. So I can't just give you a stress. Musab, I'm really stressed out of due to this unexpected loneliness from inside. I may surround with people, but still there's something it feels odd. So you first need to see your vitamins in your body again. First, go to a doctor, go to a hakim. Then also go check yourself for jadoo and go check yourself for sihr. Then go check yourself for nazar. And also then recite lots of salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How does Musa deal with the students in the classroom if they are not paying attention and not completing their homework? Um, so now I'm not a role model, so I can't explain to you how I'll deal with them because I myself will do is just let them become playful. I have to teach maktab, and then I'm not the role model, so I can't answer that question because then I can't give them punishment or anything. It becomes very, very difficult for me. When it comes to bay'ah, I remember Musab mentioned another cause that one should take bay'ah to someone whose mizaj and methodology matches. But would the madhab of the sheikh also matter? And does the mufti Sahib think everyone should take bay'ah to a sheikh? So the madhab, it will only matter if the sheikh insists. So there are some shuyukh like that they want you to follow them in every view. So if they want you to follow them in every view, it will become very hard. So for example, now again, if you're not an alim or not an alima, don't listen. And only if you're an alim and alima. Yes, there is the view in every madhab that, for example, a female should wear niqab. But there's also a view in some madhab, and 100% when you follow the usul of that madhab, that the female don't have to wear niqab. Now, if you're going to take bi'ah, so I'm just giving you an example here. Of course, I'm not giving you a fatwa. I'm giving you an example. You understand? So don't misquote me. So now, if you follow that view, and it's 100%, in that madhab that the female does not have to wear niqab, or like a man can shave his beard, but now you take beard to the sheikh and he insists that you have to wear niqab, and it's going to become an issue. Then you rather take bi'ah in the same madhab. But if your sheikh is such that your sheikh will allow you to follow your own madhab, and he will also advise you in accordance with your own madhab, then it's fine. As Yunus Patel, rahmallah, I told you that just before he passed away, we spent lots of time together. So we spent time together. He went to Shama'il Muhammadiyyah and we went for 1 year Jamaat. But when we were going for 1 year Jamaat, then at that time Mufti Ibrahim Desai Rahmallah was getting his new Darul Ifta. So he told us, you all are going Pakistan, why don't you just go to Karachi and first get for us all his kitabs. So then we went, and then we said, okay, now we'll say by Shama'il Muhammadiyyah because we knew him quite well. So then we ended, and Yunus Patel was there. So he would insist on this point here, like over those days that we stayed with him, like he told us, not one time, not two times, not three times, like lots and lots and lots. That is why I told you this whole background of the incident, just so that you can understand. We're staying together, and over and over and over, the day, next day, following day, that you have one person who you have your islahi ta'alluq with, and then choose now who you're going to follow as your mufti. It could either be your same as your sheikh, or it could either be a different person. But then when you choose that mufti, it must be in harmony with the sheikh. So he really emphasized that point. Okay, now we can make dhikr. Or are we allowed to take good omens? Yes, most definitely. It comes in hadith, in the chapters in the books of hadith about taking good omens and what are considered as good omens. So good omens is like say, for example, you're feeling sad and a person by the name of Farhan walked in. Now, Farhan means happy. Or maybe you're a girl now, a person by the name of Sadia walked in. Then you take that good omen that, okay, now we'll become happy. Um, yeah, so those are good. Okay, let us make, inshallah, a dhikr, and then if there's other questions, then make then inshallah we'll answer tomorrow or something, inshallah. Make dua, Allah Ta'ala puts barakah in our time that we can cover more and more and more. I would really love to answer all of your questions, but it's just not possible. Okay. Bismillahir Rahman. So when we're making dhikr, again, I repeat this a lot, but it is a mudhakara, that let us try to keep our minds also focused. When you sing La ilaha, take out everything besides Allah from your heart. If you got worries, then say there's no one to remove these worries. Think that there's no creator, there's no one who's controlling everything in my life. So every La ilaha illallah must be done with feeling. It must not be done with understanding. It must be done with this, like where you are picturing and thinking of yourself getting closer to Allah Ta'ala. La ilaha, there's no one who I can trust with everything, illallah. There is no one who has my back, illallah. There is no one who I can leave all my affairs to, and I know he will not mishandle them, illallah. So think like that, think like that, think like that. Then also for forgiveness of sins, think La ilaha, there is no one who can forgive my sins, illallah. Then think, I made such bad sins, but there is no one who has more mercy, illallah. So think like that. So it must not just be words of a sound, just from the Arabic words La ilaha. So people tell me from time to time that must put other words in between also, so that I say that no, from La ilaha illallah. You do La ilaha illallah properly, and you'll see what a change it will do. That is why it's called Afdalul Dhikr. So must be able to repeat La ilaha illallah. We don't need to put any substitute in between or anything to make us focus. From La ilaha illallah, all our solutions are here. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله، 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 لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله، 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 لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله، 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 لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله، 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 لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله، 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 لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله، 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 لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله، 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله، 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله، 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله، 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله، 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Jazakumullah khairan. So inshallah we have hope that we completed 75,000. So we make dua that inshallah through the barakah of that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it such that inshallah it becomes a means of us all being protected from the fire of Jahannam, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us to the barakah of this dhikr, to the barakah of these durus, to the barakah of the Shama'il, to the barakah of the ahadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. May Allah ta'ala protect me, protect you, protect our progenies from all, from having Jahannam in this world and from going into Jahannam in the hereafter. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.